Well, congratulations to the Florida Panthers and their head coach, former Whalers and Carolina Hurricanes head coach Paul Maurice, winning the Stanley Cup. Game 7, they beat the Oilers 2-1. And look, I told you last week, I don't know what Paul Maurice could have said to his team after blowing a 3-game set-on lead. All the momentum is gone. You're going home, yes, but the Oilers are playing extremely well. They're rolling up goals. I don't know what you could possibly say. I have no idea. But whatever it was, it worked.
I can't tell you this. Highly entertaining in the post game. You know, in the moments that we get, you know, as the network pays its bills, getting a cup of coffee, and he was going to do his post-game interview on the ice, and they go and they hand him the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts cursing, right?
Yeah.
Blanket, yeah, whatever. But he leans over, and he's got the cup waist high, and he starts talking to the cup, right? And then he eventually lifts over his head and does his scream, hands the cup, and moves on, and he goes back to his post-game interview. They're like, what did you say? Said some unkind things. Told her how difficult she was, and I've been chasing her for 30 years, and how difficult it was to catch her. But I said some unkind things to her.
Like it was like it's a romantic comedy, and what was that movie with John Cusack when she wrote her phone number in the book?
Was that Serendipity?
And he kept the love in the time of cholera.
Kate Beckinsale, right?
Kate Bush. We're running up that hill. Yeah, it's like
but it was
30 years. I've been waiting for you for so long. I've been trying to find you. Like it's a rom-com.
But legitimately, he goes. He turns to the interviewer and says, "Well, said some unkind things about how difficult it was to catch her."
I would say this, Paul Maurice, if you wanted to win the Stanley Cup, shouldn't have wasted your time coaching the Whalers in the beginning. You should have been coaching a different team.
Well, maybe. But you know what? Maybe it's more satisfying because that chase has finally ended after these many years. I mean, we heard the play-by-play of Bill Lindsay kind of going and losing his mind.
Yeah.
So, for Paul Maurice, the long journey is done. Almost gave it away.
Yeah.
She almost ran away.
Yeah.
Almost found another guy to run off with. No, but you caught her.
He almost won the Cup in the final with the Hurricanes in 2002, and had they been able to defend the last 30 seconds, they could have gone up 2-1 against the Wings, but no, they couldn't. And Brett Hull scores a goal and deflects it over Archer Zerbe, who's only 4 feet tall.
That's still kind of funny when you get to say, hey, and Brett Hull and the Red Wings, because that just doesn't make sense.
No, but that was it. He deflects one home, and we go to overtime and lose, and Larionov scores in overtime.
Sure it wasn't Scott Hull?
No, it was not.
Big Scott Hall.
But, look, this game, it comes down to one goal. And Reinhart's goal in the second period is the game winner. It's 1-1, and he skates in after the Oilers get a pretty decent chance down the other end. And yes, the Oilers defensemen kind of back off the puck a little bit, which you shouldn't do. You can't back off the guy skating in with the puck, right?
Especially the guy that's as much of a goal scorer and threat as he is to give him room.
You have to step out and the person without the puck. The most dangerous person is always the person with the puck. And the fact that both defensemen, they stayed with the other two players coming, it's like, no, you gotta
go smother the man with the puck.
You gotta take him. So they did let him get a little too close. That 100%. But that's a shot that Stuart Skinner saw. Skinner! That Skinner's got to stop. Like, that was such a soft goal. This wasn't something where he got in and ripped it and it went top shelf, or, it was 5-hole, he didn't see it. This was kind of an average wrist shot that he looks like he tries to close his arms so it doesn't go under his left arm, and it winds up just going to the left of his shoulder, like we're right in the middle of his arm, where his tricep is. See, if my triceps, I would have stopped it. And it was just a really awkward attempt at the save. And I know that's where you look back and go, I'm going to think about that shot for the rest of my life. Because not that you would have won the cup, because it would have been 1-1, still 1-1. But that's a shot that you should have stopped.
But you keep looking at it, trying to get that point of view, right? This is where you want the helmet cam for the goalie. It's like, what was the shot? Was it obscured by the defender skating back? Was it like, you know what I mean? Like,
he had a great look at it.
You're trying to figure out, like, just misjudge height. What, like, how did you miss that?
He had a great look. Tell me, because I played hockey my whole life. That's a shot. That's a save you have to make. You have to make that save. If it's a great goal scorer's goal, I understand, right? If he beats you too high, but this was the one where he got a little weird with what he wanted to do, and it looked like he got caught in between. Like, is the puck coming here? Do I need to make sure the rebound, I can gather the rebound when it comes? And instead it was just stop it. Just stop it. Let it come down in front of you. And he actually made himself smaller by moving his arms into his chest and missed it. Like,
well, just remember the general rule: if you meet a bobcat in the wild, what do? You got to look big.
Yeah, got to look big.
Can't shrink in the net. No, you got to come up big.
So I put a bobcat in your car so you can face your fear.
But I mean, like, he almost had a moment where he tried to, overcorrect for it. Moments later, where he's skating behind the net going after a puck, and he left the net wide open.
Well,
it's like, if that pops out, man, like we got a 3-1 game, and now they're going the other way.
Look, Skinner's got a great mustache, but Skinner's one of those goalies where it's like, boy, he can make some great plays, and other times he makes you go, Skinner, like you're in The Simpsons.
Oh yeah,
he does that. He does that. That's the thing.
Good job. I mean, on the Panthers' defensive side, the extra block shots, the laying their bodies out and doing everything they had to do in support. So, a lot of the unheralded, the things that aren't going to show up in box scores over the time, and certainly we were tracking it as the broadcast was, how many ice minutes for McDavid. Like, that became the big metric in this final game, right? Coming off of his scoreless and shotless performance where Edmonton's able to force a Game 7, like that was a big talking point all the way through. And then today it became all right, how many shots and how much was he on the ice? And every opportunity it was to get a screenshot of him coming back onto the ice for another shift. It was, all right, McDavid, does he have that glorious touch? Can he do it? Can he even this thing and try to force some extra hockey, etc.? Like, it became great theater because you've got a guy acknowledged as the best player in the game, wins the Conn Smythe, 42 points, fourth most all time in a playoff.
It's an incredible
run, all
number
of these
points.
things.
It's an incredible number of points.
But can he, find some heroics here in a Game 7 after Edmonton was left for dead repeatedly, forcing this thing all the way back to Florida for a Game 7, and in the final moments looking for that last bit of magic, and it never arrived.
Jason,
what do you got?
Skinner's fault.
Skinner,
he's just a simple man. TJ.
Boom.
But this goes to show you, to make this a wider point. It's kind of fun now that we have the Stanley Cup final going on, Euro, Copa America happening at the same time, and is that you can see that, and it's weird because every sport has it, but nobody really understands it as much as you do when I make this point. Is there more pressure on a quarterback than on any other player on a football team? Yeah, exactly. Quarterback makes all the money, but quarterback still has a lot. With every snap, they're in control of the play, and they're more in control of what they can do because of the way they get the ball in their hands every single play. Right? For Major League Baseball, there's more pressure on the pitcher because the pitcher has the ball, throws. But the fact that baseball is predicated on failure because the best players fail 4 to 6 times. Fail 6 to 8 to 10 times every 10 times. If you got to get hot, he has 5 hits in his last 10 at bats.
Right, but you're a Hall of Famer if you hit 300 over.
You are hitting 300 now to have a big season in Major League Baseball. You're not hitting 340, 360 anymore. So you're failing 7 times out of 10. So the pressure on the pitcher a little bit less. But in hockey and in soccer, the pressure on the scorers is 20 times what it is on every other player, because every other player can still have a good game and win or lose because, hey, they played well, they were able to break up plays, nobody scored on you, hey, everything was fine. But if the big scorer doesn't score, guess whose fault it is, right? Because that's you quantify scorers in soccer and hockey one way. What did you do on the scoreboard? And that's why the glamour boys that are the one, hey, they get all the glory, but the pressure on them to come through, it's absolutely immense. So now with Connor McDavid, yes, he's a Conn Smythe MVP, had an incredible playoffs, but what are teams going to look at? Boy, he didn't have anything in that last game.
Yeah.
He needs to score. He's the best player in the NHL.
Well, but think about
He's
all
got
the
to score a
strikers
goal.
for U.S. men's national teams.
All the bad
through the
ones that
years.
we have, yeah.
No, but every guy that got, Altidore and all the others that got elevated of like, all right, this guy's going to be the savior.
Yes, Dempsey, Altidore, Balogun. No, it's so much pressure just because you can say, hey, you scored and that's a good game, but we expect you to score because that's what you do. If you don't score, it's your fault because you needed to score. Why don't you? If you had scored, we would have won, and you score all the time. How do you not score?
So are you going to excoriate McDavid when you do your next Edmonton radio hit?
He's got to score in Game 7. He stinks. He's overrated. He's terrible. He's awful.
I've been telling you that for years.
That's a hot take. No, but this is just how it goes. This is just how sports goes. When you don't score as a soccer player or a hockey player, it's your fault. You're the one. We didn't win because you didn't score.
It's completely magnified.
If McDavid scores 2 goals in the final game and they lose 3-2, guess what? Not his fault. But I scored 2 goals because you can quantify that. It's easy to quantify. In soccer, if the United States loses, if Pulisic scores a goal and the United States loses 2-1, it's not Pulisic's fault. He scored a goal. I mean, there's not that many goals, not that much offense in either sport. So when you dent the scoreboard, that's what you do.
Well, it's always going to be Berhalter's
and
fault.
to not, yes, it will. No matter what, it's Berhalter's fault. But that's the thing is that the pressure for that is immense. And I mean, for winning the Conn Smythe Trophy, that's great. But it's going to look at Game 7 and the Oilers high flying duo. Neither of them were able to dent the score. They weren't able to win. It was a really big deal. It was a really big thing. Bobrovsky's a pretty good keeper. Is he great? Is he unbelievable? No, he's kind of up and down a little bit. He had some time in the playoffs where he looked like he was unbeatable, but then he comes back to earth a little bit. This is on them. And not only that, but it's on you as a player when you walk away from that and you think for a long time, God, heck, why couldn't I get a goal? Why didn't I know I can score? I can always score. How do I not get a goal there? And that eats you up. As someone who scores goals, when I played, because I told you how good I was in hockey.
Scored goals.
Someone who scored goals. Yeah, not anymore, though. I'm done. I'm retired. Although, I think now, I was thinking about this the other day. Instead of playing Glory Days when I talk about we should play that song from, I forget what the name of the song is.
Is it the one from Wallace
and
Gromit?
No. The one from Endgame.
The one you forgot, yeah.
No, the one
The song
from
with the noise?
No.
Thing with the guy in the
No,
plane.
the one from Endgame they play when Captain America is dancing.
Like
with,
any of us have seen that movie? Come on.
Yeah,
what
come
are
on.
you doing?
Watch that.
Any of us have seen Endgame.
No.
What is it? Yeah, that's the song we should play when I talk about what I play. What I played and play that because it's from the 40s or whatever it is. We should do that.
What about that Bieber song you hate?
No. And
yeah.
I'm glad you guys have not found that.
Well, I'm
going
gonna
to
text Pam.
No. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. I'm going to tell her.
Who knows?
Hang on. Don't text Frostberg. There we go.